Hi there, I am so glad you're here because spending time with me in this video, where we're going to dive into the 3 most common stubborn child parenting mistakes, the ones that you don't want to make, can ensure you're clear on the parenting steps that'll move you away from losing it, feeling exhausted, or just plain old frustrated by your child. It'll also help you identify what you need to do to dial down the intensity of fights, meltdowns, and pushback. You know, those angry child behaviors that may be putting stress on the entire family. By the way, if you like what you hear, please either like or pass this video on to someone who could use and appreciate it. If we haven't yet met, hi there, I'm Kelly from joyfullyparenting.com, and I help moms inspire their stubborn child to listen, but without yelling, bribes, or caving in, so everyone can finally enjoy a peaceful and fun home. Really, I'm kind of like a stubborn child turnaround specialist who's been there and done it, like when a dessert plate went flying past my head, but more on this later. I have been honored to speak with over 1 million parents and help hundreds of my clients over the past 27 years say goodbye to chronic stubborn child drama. And here's one of the biggest things I've learned. Parenting a spirited kiddo isn't for wimps. It's downright tough. So if you can relate to having a kid who questions your every word, or have a child who's so sensitive or stubborn that you can't get them out the door without a meltdown or Herculean effort on your part, you're in the right place. Now, in this video, I want to guide you to look at what's behind your real stubborn child issue, the one that may very well be preventing you from inspiring your kid to be happier, more agreeable, and respectful. And I also encourage you to stay until the end because there I'm going to give you a link to download the 9 steps to confidently parent a stubborn child checklist. No matter if you ever work with me or not, these are the 9 simple things you need to have in place if you really want to rock it when it comes to raising a grateful child, not unintentionally raising a spoiled one who doesn't appreciate all you do. So let's jump in. Stubborn child parenting mistake number 1 is this. You believe that your stubborn child's misbehavior is the problem. It never is, really. You see, in order to fix the real stubborn child problem, you need to become like a detective and discover what's behind the obvious. Basically, step into their shoes and figure out WIIFT, what's in it for them. If you really want to transform the stubborn child misbehaviors that may drive you a little crazy, you need to know one big stubborn child secret. So if I've lost your attention, you'll want to come back and listen to it. It's this. Stubborn child misbehaviors are never the real problem. They are always solutions to a problem your child has found. Yes, the talking back, the questioning you ad nauseum, and even the dramatic meltdowns are never the real problem, at least to your kid. They're actually solutions to a problem your child has. Truly, this is key. Because if you're trying to fix your child's behavior but don't get the WIFT, you're bound to fail and needlessly deal with a difficult, angry child cycle. Now let's take an example. Let's think about some of the clients I've got right now. I've got one who's dealing with rude interruptions at the dinner table. Let's call him Max. So Max is a very loud and rambunctious 5-year-old and was driving his parents crazy with his interruptions, running off in the middle of dinner, and most annoying of all, making farting noises. They tried everything: nag, remind, threatened to take away his dessert. And because it was a problem for them, they incorrectly thought it was also a problem for him. This is a super common parenting mistake. But to Max, it wasn't a problem. It was working beautifully for him. Now, before I continue, I want you to think about your kid, because this kind of awareness can start to tip the peaceful parenting scales. What's one of your stubborn child issues you want to solve? Have you got a kid who makes bedtime an exhausting event that lasts hours? Got a kid who drags their feet with chores? Or a child who takes forever to get ready? Whatever it is, I invite you to start thinking like your kid. In Max's case, like many stubborn children, he really values control, and understandably, he was brilliantly controlling dinner every single night. So we brainstormed how they could all get their needs met. And it took a week, but then they started to see some significant changes. Could actually have a conversation about their day without interruption. So what's one misbehavior you want to tackle? How might it be a solution to a problem your child has? How could it be meeting their values and goals? How is it working for them? Do you cave in and eventually give them what they want? Does cross-examining your every word make them feel right, powerful? Do their meltdowns ultimately give them more attention? Okay, moving on to stubborn child parenting mistake number 2, which is you use well-meaning positive parenting methods, things like chores, rewards, reminders, active listening, and maybe providing the wrong kind of extracurriculars. Yikes. Now, wait a minute, Kelly, you may be thinking, I thought these things were good things, at least some of them. Well, yes and no. In a truly stubborn child, things that work for other kids can unknowingly contribute to more fights, bedtime meltdowns, tension, stress, and drama. If you've got a bona fide stubborn child living under your roof, it can be downright infuriating and disheartening when you realize that what works for more compliant kids simply backfires with yours. So, have you ever been totally dumbfounded when you see another kid actually do what their parents ask? Maybe it's during after school pickup or at the playground. A parent says, "Hey, it's time to go." And they just get in the car. No questions asked, no meltdown, no running away. Humbling, no? Embarrassing? Yes, sometimes. Equally infuriating is if you have another child where the positive parenting tips I mentioned before work out beautifully for them, yet they totally bomb with your spirited kiddo. So hear this. Spirited kids are harder to parent. Let me repeat that. Spirited kids are harder to parent. Why, I had one client refer to their third child as Attila the Hun. Her husband actually said he would have gotten a vasectomy years earlier if she had been their firstborn, and they would have ended up with an only child. Now, the final stubborn child parenting mistake, number 3, is this. You take away screen time, devices, or other privileges to help your child learn from their mistakes. So common. But the tricky thing is that over time, this type of child discipline approach most often backfires and only teaches stubborn kids to lie, become resentful, or stay in a constant angry state where they fight with you on most everything. Why, just yesterday, Mom Heidi in my Stubborn Child Solutions free Facebook group shared that her current biggest stubborn child challenge is lying. When this is the case, and it's common, I most often guide parents to look at this third mistake. One of the things that can help is knowing that strong-willed children are often righteous. How about yours? This is another common stubborn child reality that I want you to become aware of, because strong-willed kids are often righteous, very aware of how fair and unfair things are. They're constantly checking those scales. That's why if they feel blindsided by their device suddenly being taken away, they can turn on you and fast. I know this one well. You see, 26 years ago, here's a retro shot of me. Before I was a mom, I was struggling with not one, but 2 strong-willed children. Their superpowers? Basically uncovering all my child discipline loopholes. This was so humbling because at the time, I was actually the it girl for children others had given up on. I successfully had worked with many difficult special needs kids. When I basically became like a live-in nanny for 2 brothers no one else would work with, I incorrectly thought that the caregiving gig would be a piece of cake. After all, I'd sorted out difficult cases before. But the night I took a privilege away at dinner, the oldest sent a dessert plate zinging past my head. It was then I realized I was in way over my head. Did I mention they were also blind from birth and had beat up their last caregiver on the public bus? Frankly, they would have given Helen Keller a run for her money, and when they weren't bouncing off the walls, they sometimes pounded on them. I had to learn a better way. And if you've got a child who doesn't take no for an answer, you likely need to as well. But how do we do this? Our kids, especially the more difficult ones, don't come with instruction manuals. And in this day and age, there's more distractions and conflicting parenting advice than ever before. It can be super easy to get knocked off your parenting A game or never truly find your footing. If you can at all relate to what I'm saying, the good news is it's not your fault. It's really not. None of us were taught in school how to deal with a screaming child in public, how to get your kid in the car without negotiations, nagging or bribery, how to get a stubborn child to listen to you, or how to keep your cool when your kid is yelling at the top of their lungs that they hate you and you're the worst parent in the world, right? So after working with stubborn kiddos, getting my master's in counseling psychology, being interviewed in magazines like Today's Parent, having the honor of helping hundreds of parents, and giving birth to my own amazing ADHD stubborn child, I've discovered there are 9 steps all parents who successfully parent their stubborn child get down. Now, I've incorporated these into what I call the peaceful parenting path. In a nutshell, it's a fully customizable family calming reboot system that fast tracks a busy mom's joyfully parenting results. Basically, it's the remedy to the 3 common stubborn child parenting mistakes we've been talking about. And while I have given you some quick ideas how to fix these, if you want to go deep, you need to know how to do the 9 things associated with each step. And these are found in my 9 steps to confidently parent a stubborn child checklist. By the way, if you want your own copy and the free parenting tips training that goes along with it, simply go to www.joyfullyparenting.com/9 steps. You can also find it in the Stubborn Child Solutions Facebook group. If you want to eliminate stubborn child drama from bringing your family down, raise a confident and grateful kid who can really succeed in the world, these are the 9 steps you'll want to get in place. And if you like what you've heard and want more great parenting tips like this and get your questions answered from me, I invite you to join my free Stubborn Child Solutions Facebook group or visit me at joyfullyparenting.com. It's only when we know better can we really do better. And often, in order to do that, we need some big time support, especially with a stubborn child. I don't want stubborn child behavior to continue to plague you. The sooner you do something about it, the better. You and your family deserve a peaceful and fun home, and I would love to help. Hope to connect with you soon. If you're committed to bringing out the best in your stubborn child, establishing that happier home while maximizing the loving bond you have with your child, I'd love to help. So come on over to the Stubborn Child Solutions Facebook group, and I really hope to get to know you soon.